The bell above the diner door rang at 2:07 a.m., and every head inside turned, not because it was unusual. Insomnia and heartbreak kept places like this alive, but because of what walked in: a tired man in a faded flannel shirt, and three little girls in matching pink pajamas and worn-out sneakers. The smallest one was asleep against his shoulder, her cheek pressed into his neck. The other two clutched his hands like the world might tilt if they let go. The man hesitated just inside the doorway, as if calculating whether warmth was something he could afford. "Dad," one of the girls whispered, her voice thick with sleep. "Are we in trouble?" His jaw tightened and he forced a smile. "No, baby. We're just getting pancakes." But everyone in that diner could see it wasn't about pancakes. It was about survival. Ethan Cole hadn't planned on being out at 2 a.m. He hadn't planned on being a widower at 34 either. Life had a way of rewriting plans without asking permission. 3 years earlier, his wife, Marissa, had died from a sudden aneurysm. 1 minute she was laughing in their kitchen, flour on her cheek from helping the girls bake cookies. The next minute she was gone. Since then, Ethan had been mother and father to Ava, Emma, and Lily, 5-year-old triplets, with matching dimples and wildly different personalities. Ava was the protector. Emma asked 1,000 questions. Lily believed every stranger was secretly kind. Ethan worked construction by day and delivered groceries at night. He slept in fragments. He measured life in bills paid and fevers broken and shoes that still fit. Tonight the electricity had been shut off. He'd known it was coming. He'd stretched every dollar until it screamed. But when the lights flickered out and the house fell silent, Lily had burst into tears. "I don't like the dark," she whispered. So Ethan did the only thing he could. He grabbed their jackets, carried Lily, held the other two close, and drove to the only place open all night, the old Silver Moon Diner off Highway 41. He ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, 1 stack of pancakes, 4 plates. In the corner booth, a woman watched them. She'd been sitting alone for nearly an hour, untouched coffee cooling in front of her. Her coat was tailored. Her heels probably cost more than Ethan's monthly rent. Diamond studs caught the overhead light each time she moved. Most people in the diner didn't recognize her, but if they'd glanced at a business magazine in the last year, they would have. Victoria Langston, heiress to the Langston global empire, tech investments, real estate, renewable energy, net worth somewhere north of $3 billion. And right now she was staring at a man carefully cutting pancakes into perfect, equal squares. Ethan slid a piece onto each of his daughter's plates before touching his own. "Dad," Emma said quietly, "you're not eating." "I had fries earlier at work," he lied smoothly. Victoria noticed. She noticed the way he pretended to chew when they looked at him. The way he wiped syrup from Lily's chin with a napkin he folded neatly afterward. The way exhaustion clung to him like a second skin. She'd grown up in penthouses and private schools. Her biggest childhood crisis had been choosing between ballet and piano lessons. But she knew loneliness. Money didn't prevent that. She had inherited an empire at 28 after her father's heart attack. Since then, she'd been surrounded by advisors. Lawyers' security, but not warmth. Watching Ethan and his daughters stirred something unfamiliar, something human. When Lily dropped her fork, Ethan bent to pick it up. That's when Victoria stood. She approached their booth slowly, aware she might look intimidating. "Excuse me," she said gently. Ethan looked up, immediately guarded. "Yes, ma'am." "I don't mean to intrude. She paused, glancing at the girls. "They're beautiful." Ava straightened protectively. "That's our dad." Victoria smiled. "I can tell." Ethan shifted. "We're fine, thank you." It wasn't rude. It was pride. Victoria respected that. "I wasn't offering charity," she said softly. "I was going to ask if I could buy them each their own stack." Emma's eyes widened. "With strawberries?" Ethan hesitated. Every instinct screamed no. But then he looked at his daughters' faces, hope glowing, fragile and bright. "It's okay, Dad," Lily whispered. "You can say yes sometimes." Victoria felt something in her chest crack open. 10 minutes later, the table was covered in pancakes topped with strawberries, whipped cream and more joy than the Silver Moon had seen in years. The girls giggled. Ethan finally ate. Victoria slid into the booth across from them at the girl's insistence. "Are you a princess?" Lily asked. Victoria laughed softly. "No, sweetheart." "She's wearing sparkly earrings," Emma reasoned. "I work with computers," Victoria explained. "Like Minecraft?" Ava asked. "Something like that." Ethan watched the exchange carefully. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly when the girls were distracted. "I know," Victoria replied. "That's why I want to." Silence stretched between them. Then she asked the question that changed everything. "Why are you here at 2 a.m.? He hesitated, but something in her expression wasn't pity. It was understanding. "Our power got shut off," he admitted finally. "Just for a few days. I'm catching up." Victoria's throat tightened. 3 little girls, no heat, no light, and he still showed up smiling. "What do you do?" she asked. "Construction. Anything I can get." She studied his hands, calloused, scarred. "Do you like it?" He shrugged. "It pays." That answer haunted her. Victoria left before they did, but not without stopping at the counter. She paid their bill, and then she did something impulsive. She asked the waitress for Ethan's last name. By morning, Victoria's team had pulled up everything. No criminal record, no lawsuits, no debt beyond medical bills from Marissa's, hospitalization and a mortgage 2 months behind. He wasn't irresponsible. He was drowning. Victoria stared at the file in her glass-walled office overlooking Manhattan. Her board expected her at a 9 a.m. strategy meeting. Instead, she cancelled it. Then she made a call. That evening, as Ethan struggled to light candles in the living room, there was a knock at the door. His stomach dropped. If it was the bank, he opened it cautiously. A black SUV idled at the curb. Victoria stood on his porch, this time in jeans and a simple sweater. Behind her, a utility truck. "I hope this isn't inappropriate," she began. "But I took a liberty." Ethan blinked. "The power company?" She gestured. The workers were already moving. "You didn't," he whispered. "I did," she said gently. "And before you protest, this isn't a handout." His jaw clenched. "Then what is it?" "It's an investment." He stared at her. "In you." The girls appeared behind him, peeking around his legs. "Sparkly earring, lady," Lily squealed. Victoria knelt to their level. "Hi, princesses." Ethan swallowed hard. "I can't pay you back." "I'm not asking you to." "Then why?" She stood slowly. "Because when I was 10, my mother died, and my father buried himself in work. We had everything money could buy, except someone who sat at a table and made sure we all had equal pieces." Her voice softened. "I saw you last night, and I realized something." "What?" he asked quietly. "There are men building skyscrapers who can't build what you're building." The porch light flickered on behind him. Power restored. The girls gasped. Ethan's eyes burned. But Victoria wasn't finished. "I looked into your background," she admitted. "You took night classes in engineering before you dropped out." He stiffened. "That was years ago. You had top marks." "I had a wife and 3 newborns." "You also had potential." Silence. "I'm launching a new sustainable housing division," she continued. "Affordable homes, efficient builds. I need someone who understands construction from the ground up." He stared at her. "You're offering me a job." "I'm offering you a chance." His voice broke. "Why me?" "Because you didn't eat, so your daughters could." Tears slipped down before he could stop them. He hadn't cried in front of anyone since Marissa's funeral. Victoria stepped back, giving him dignity. "It's a salary triple what you're making. Flexible hours, full benefits. And yes, earned, not given." The world tilted. The girls were spinning in circles under the newly glowing lights. "Dad!" Emma shouted. "The house is bright again." Ethan covered his face for a moment. When he looked up, something inside him had shifted. Hope, raw and terrifying. "I don't know how to thank you." Victoria smiled. "Show up." 6 months later, the Silver Moon Diner hosted a celebration. Ethan stood taller now, not because of money, because of purpose. He had designed 3 prototype homes already, efficient, beautiful, affordable for families like his. Victoria sat at the booth where it all began. The girls insisted she join them again. "Are you a princess now?" Lily asked. Victoria glanced at Ethan. "No," she said softly. But I have friends. Ethan squeezed his daughters close. That night at 2 a.m., he had walked into a diner feeling like a failure. He had walked out with pancakes. What he didn't know was that someone had seen more than his struggle. She had seen his heart. And in a world that often worshipped power, it was kindness that changed everything. Because sometimes the unbelievable isn't winning the lottery. Sometimes it's being noticed. And sometimes the most powerful person in the room isn't the billionaire. It's the single dad who shows up at 2 a.m., divides one stack of pancakes into 4 equal pieces and calls it enough.